USAID funded Boko Haram's slaughter of Christians in Nigeria, among other horrific attacks around the world. Everyone, Johnny here, Don't Speak News. Well, Nigeria is an entry on my prayer list. I pray for the believers in Nigeria every single morning, and because there's one believer killed there every 2 hours at least. And so I highly encourage you as well, if you don't already have them on your prayer list, to put them there. So the question is, will Donald Trump permanently end these shameful massacres by cutting off all the covert aid for terror groups or to terror groups and choking off their supply lines? Or will they keep them on the shelf for future use? And that's what I would guess, is that he'll keep them on the shelf for future use, or they're just going to let the slaughter continue. So last week, I reported how USAID, a federal agency operating under the auspices of the U.S. State Department, funded Islamic terrorism that killed more than 3,000 U.S. soldiers. We have an update now that suggests Washington's funding of Islamic terror groups was once more widespread than originally thought. And the targets included more than just U.S. soldiers. Adamu Garba, a chieftain and politician of Nigeria's All Progressive Congress, has affirmed the allegations that the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, was funding Boko Haram, ISIS, and other Islamic terrorist organizations known for murdering Christians. Boko Haram is known for infiltrating the Muslim nomad Fulani herdsmen who have conducted a reign of terror against Christians for years in northeastern Nigeria, burning down the Christians' homes, killing their men, and often kidnapping and raping their daughters. And I get, once again, this goes back to people telling me, "Oh, Johnny, we're not being persecuted, so how can there, we be in the tribulation?" Look at this. Do you think America is the only country in the world? I mean, I swear that a lot of you do. But here we go. There's all kinds of persecution going on. Nigeria, Syria now, again. Syria's been going through it since 2011, when the U.S. and Israel started that fake revolution over there, that uprising. It's been going on for decades around the world, but here in America, everybody's, "Oh, there's no persecution." Well, no, I don't feel persecuted. Well, you will soon. Trust me on that. So a 2018 report by the Voice of the Martyrs, which is where I got a lot of this information originally, stated this. In June, the New York Times reported that more than 300,000 people have been displaced as a result of the Fulani militant attacks. Over 500 people have been killed by the militants in 2018 alone. And keep in mind, that's 2018. What's that? We're going on, what's that, 7 years ago now. The Fulani often attack in the middle of the night with no warning. The militants tend to surround villages, trap the locals inside their houses, and then burn the homes. The victims have no time to prepare or run. Now we have a Nigerian political figure, Adam Garba, coming out and saying that most of the money for these Islamic militants originates from USAID. Garba says funds from USAID were used to purchase weapons for Boko Haram, the Islamic State's West Africa province, and other terrorist groups. In a video he posted on his X page under the title, "Terrorism as a Foreign Policy Tool, Terrorism and USAID Funding," Garber questioned how USAID spent $824 million last year in Nigeria alone. And yet nobody among the announced recipients saw any benefit of that funding. Apparently, guys, foreign aid like this is typically just used it's a laundering money. It's a way to launder money. That's what foreign aid is. It's a way for the elites, so-called elites, and the crooks to launder their money. And it ends up all coming back into their bank accounts. How do you think people like Nancy Pelosi are worth hundreds of millions of dollars when they are done in Congress or while they're still there? There's a lot of Congress people that are multi-millionaires in the hundreds of millions of dollars. And many are in the tens of millions of dollars. How do you think they get that? It's not just through insider trading on the stock market, I can tell you that. A lot of this foreign aid comes back washed and clean and back into their bank accounts. Just saying. During a February 12th DOGE subcommittee hearing called The War on Waste, Stamping Out the Scourge of Improper Payments and Fraud, Congressman Perry alleged that $697 million in foreign aid was being steered through USAID to Boko Haram, ISIS, and Al-Qaeda. For example, Perry said there's no record of USAID using 136 million to build 120 schools in Pakistan, as Congress intended the money to be used. Garba said, I mentioned this before, that Boko Haram, ISWAP, and most of these terrorists, the weapons they get are actually funded by some clandestine foreign operators. They are the ones supplying them weapons. He added that the expose about USAID has confirmed that Boko Haram and all these other terrorists are getting their weapons through the funding from USAID. Just last year, USAID spent $824 million in Nigeria. Where did all that money go? Indeed, where did it go? The money that we've been hearing about ends up in Ukraine, and then those weapons end up on the black market. And of course, we send billions to Israel, but where did this $824 million in Nigeria go? That's almost $1 billion that is just unaccounted for. So the Nigerian government said the money was spent on childcare, mortality, and education, but little, if any of it, apparently went for these priorities. Garba stated that when the money came in, where did it all go? Those monies go to the funding of Boko Haram and kidnappers that are used to kill and destroy our land. That is the operation. A U.S. congressman has confirmed this statement. The congressman made a speech by saying that Boko Haram bandits and terrorists operating in the Sahel are mostly funded by USAID. Because of President Trump, Garba said terrorism could be defeated in Nigeria, and if this happens, Africa could be in a position to thrive. He said Trump is exposing the entire global corruption network, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. Garba explained that more is going to be released among the African elites, most of them in collaboration with criminals to destroy our land, and are soon going to be exposed, and we will reclaim our country and continent for the betterment of our people and future. He cited the leisure media in Somalia as stating, with Donald Trump at the helm of the U.S. government, is the terrorism in Africa about to come to an abrupt end? Or will the British intelligence continue to dominate the U.S. intelligence and foreign policy to the detriment of the U.S.? That's a legitimate question. Has the United States ever fully decoupled itself at the highest levels of banking and finance and with the Five Eyes intelligence operations from the British Crown? Or are they still joined as one in an Anglo-American death cult that seeks to export the culture of rot of abortion, the LGBTQ trans filth, perpetual war, and other depopulation schemes, all the while at the same time funding Islamic terror to kill Christians and any others who refuse to go along with their planned one world beast system? And right here, guys, this last sentence is why I believe, because they're not going to stop this planned one world beast system. Okay, that's what Stargate AI is all about. Okay, it's about completing that system. It's already on the way to being completed because they started on it in early 2024, a year ago. At least in the press, that's what we're being told. It's been in the works for a lot longer, you can bet on that. So, this funding Islamic terror to kill Christians will continue. And of course, they'll target anybody else that refuses to go along with their planned one world beast system. So you can bet the Christians will still be persecuted. So please, keep these folks in your prayers. They've been persecuted in Nigeria for a long, long time. I'll put the links up to all of this like I always do. Don't forget, don'tspeaknews.com, home base for everything that we do. I put up a new video by Leland Jones. That just came out today about the Antichrist Trump to take Gaza and the prophecy of Jordan and Egypt. Really good video today that I recommend that you watch. I got the notes and everything up here on the website, don'tspeaknews.com. I have also other news here that we can't speak about anywhere else. And there we go. That would be it for now. God bless, take care. Johnny Storm, Don't Speak News.